If coffee used to feel like a clean boost, but now it barely moves the needle, you're not imagining it. A lot of people end up chasing that first cup feeling and somehow getting more tired instead. The reason isn't that coffee stopped working as a substance. It's that your brain and body adapt to caffeine, and your daily habits can amplify the downside. Once you understand the mechanics, the pattern becomes predictable. You'll see why the first cup can feel great, why the second cup often feels weaker, and why the third can backfire. You'll also learn why timing matters as much as dose, and why stress, sleep debt, and food choices can make caffeine feel like it's doing nothing. The goal isn't to demonize coffee. It's to use it in a way that supports energy instead of borrowing it. Let's start with the core switch caffeine flips in your brain. Moving to slide 2. Caffeine's main trick is surprisingly simple. It blocks adenosine receptors in your brain. Adenosine is a chemical that builds up while you're awake, and it's one big reason you feel sleep pressure. When caffeine sits on those receptors, it's like putting tape over a warning light. You feel more alert, not because you created energy, but because you muted the "you're getting tired" signal. Meanwhile, your body keeps producing adenosine in the background. So the longer you stay awake, the more pressure is quietly stacking up. That's why caffeine can feel smooth at first, then suddenly you crash later. The crash is often just the adenosine catching up once caffeine wears off. This also explains why coffee can't replace sleep. It can hide sleepiness for a while, but it doesn't erase the need. Next, we'll look at the adaptation that makes the same cup feel weaker over time. Moving to slide 3. If you drink caffeine regularly, your brain tries to normalize the situation. One common adaptation is making more adenosine receptors, or changing how sensitive they are. In plain terms, your brain adds more parking spots for adenosine. So the same dose of caffeine blocks a smaller percentage of the total receptors. Result: less noticeable alertness. This is tolerance, and it can build faster than people expect, especially with daily use. It doesn't mean you're broken. It means your nervous system is doing its job, staying balanced. The catch is that tolerance often tricks you into increasing the dose. That can create a loop. More caffeine to feel normal, then more adaptation, then even less effect. And because adenosine signaling is tied to sleepiness, this can also make baseline tiredness feel stronger when you're not caffeinated. Next, let's talk about the withdrawal fog that makes coffee feel mandatory. Moving to slide 4. After tolerance builds, a morning coffee can feel like it fixes you, but sometimes it's just removing withdrawal. Overnight, caffeine levels drop. Adenosine receptors are unblocked again, and with more receptors in play, you can feel extra groggy. Add mild withdrawal symptoms, like headache, low mood, and mental fog, and the first cup feels like relief. That relief can be mistaken for a performance boost, even if you're mostly returning to your normal baseline. This is why people say, "I can't function without coffee." It may not be lack of caffeine, it may be dependence. Dependence isn't a moral issue. It's a predictable biological response to a daily stimulant. The practical problem is that if your first cup is just getting you back to zero, you'll be tempted to stack more cups to get above zero. Next, we'll cover the timing mistake that makes this cycle worse. Moving to slide 5. A common mistake is drinking coffee immediately after waking. Right after you wake up, your body is already running a natural wake-up sequence. Cortisol, one of your main alertness hormones, tends to rise in the morning as part of your circadian rhythm. If you add caffeine right on top of that, you may get a sharper spike. But you also train your brain to expect caffeine during a time it's already trying to wake you up.
For some people, delaying the first caffeine by 60 to 90 minutes feels smoother.
Not because cortisol is bad, but because you're letting your natural alertness come online first. Another timing issue is late-day caffeine.
Caffeine has a half-life of roughly 5 hours in many adults,
sometimes longer. That means an afternoon coffee can still be active near bedtime, even if you feel sleepy. Next, we'll connect this to why sleep gets lighter and coffee gets weaker. Moving to slide 6. Here's the trap. Caffeine can quietly damage the very thing that makes you feel energized: sleep quality. Even if you fall asleep, caffeine can reduce deep sleep in some people and shift sleep toward lighter stages. Studies also show caffeine can delay your internal clock, especially when used later in the day. The next morning, you wake up with more sleep pressure, and that makes you reach for more caffeine. So coffee works in the short term, but it can set up a weaker baseline the next day. This is why people get stuck in a loop of morning fatigue, midday slump, and afternoon rescue coffee. And if you add tolerance on top, you need more caffeine for less effect. A useful way to think about it is this: caffeine can be a tool, but sleep is the foundation. If the foundation erodes, the tool starts feeling unreliable. Next, we'll talk about the crash, why it can feel like your energy falls off a cliff. Moving to slide 7. The coffee crash isn't just in your head. As caffeine levels drop, all that adenosine you've been accumulating can bind again. If you've been awake a long time, that backlog is bigger. So when caffeine stops blocking receptors, sleepiness can surge. On top of that, caffeine can increase adrenaline-like signaling, which can feel like drive and focus. When that stimulation fades, you can feel flat, unmotivated, or mentally slow. Some people respond by drinking more coffee right at the first hint of a dip.
That can work briefly, but it often creates a jagged energy day, peaks and valleys. Another factor is hydration and electrolytes. Coffee is mildly diuretic for some people, and if your overall fluid intake is low, fatigue can feel worse.
The key idea is that crashes are often predictable. Next, we'll look at why coffee plus stress can make you feel wired and tired at the same time. Moving to slide 8. If you're under chronic stress, coffee can start feeling strange. You might feel alert, but not productive. Or you feel anxious, yet still exhausted. That's because caffeine doesn't only affect adenosine, it also interacts with your stress system, including cortisol and adrenaline signaling. When your baseline stress is already high, adding a stimulant can push you into a revved-up state without improving real capacity. Think of it like pressing the gas when the engine is overheating. You get noise and motion, but not efficient output. This can also make your body burn through energy faster, so the tiredness later is stronger. Another issue is that stress can disrupt sleep, and then caffeine is used to compensate. That's a tight loop. If coffee started making you jittery, sweaty, or oddly fatigued, it's often a sign to look at stress load and recovery, not just the coffee itself. Next, we'll cover a huge hidden variable: blood sugar, and the coffee without food pattern. Moving to slide 9. Coffee on an empty stomach works fast, but it can also set up a mid-morning slump. Caffeine can reduce appetite for some people, so breakfast gets delayed. Then blood sugar can dip, especially if your first real meal is mostly refined carbs. When blood sugar drops, your brain reads it as low fuel, and fatigue feels immediate. You might blame coffee for not working, when the real issue is that you're underfed or poorly timed with food. There's also the stress angle. Caffeine can increase the release of glucose into the blood, and if you're sensitive, that rise and fall can feel like jitteriness, followed by a crash. This doesn't mean everyone must eat before coffee. It means your response is personal, and it's worth testing. A simple experiment is pairing coffee with protein and fiber earlier in the day, and seeing if energy becomes steadier. Next, we'll talk about another sneaky reason coffee feels weaker: sleep debt and the ceiling effect. Moving to slide 10. If you're carrying sleep debt, coffee has a ceiling. It can improve alertness, but it can't fully restore reaction time, mood, or decision-making the way real sleep does. Studies comparing sleep deprivation with caffeine show that caffeine can mask how tired you feel, but performance still degrades, especially on complex tasks. That's one reason coffee can stop working during intense weeks. You're asking it to do a job it can't do. Another piece is that when you're very tired, your brain can slip into micro lows, brief dips in attention. Coffee might reduce them but not eliminate them, so you still feel scattered. A helpful mindset is to treat caffeine as a small lever, not a replacement battery. When the underlying charge is low, the lever feels weak. Next, we'll cover why your genetics and liver metabolism can change the experience, and why one person's afternoon espresso is another person's insomnia. Moving to slide 11. People metabolize caffeine at very different speeds. A big driver is liver enzymes, especially one called CYP1A2. Some people clear caffeine quickly and can drink it later without much effect on sleep. Others clear it slowly, so one afternoon coffee can still be active at midnight. Hormones, pregnancy, certain medications, and even smoking status can also change caffeine metabolism. But the key point is simple. Your normal might not match someone else's. Genetics also influence caffeine sensitivity, how strongly you feel it, and how likely you are to feel anxiety or palpitations. This matters because if you're a slow metabolizer, you may build more sleep disruption without realizing it. Then coffee feels weaker, so you increase dose, and the loop tightens. The practical takeaway is to judge coffee by outcomes, sleep quality, steady energy, and mood, not just the initial buzz. Next, we'll talk about dose and delivery, why a giant drink can be worse than smaller planned amounts. Moving to slide 12. Dose matters, but so does how fast you deliver it. A large coffee can create a sharp rise in stimulation, then a sharper fall. That can feel productive for 30 minutes, then messy for 2 hours. Smaller doses can feel less dramatic, but more stable. Another issue is hidden caffeine. Cold brew, energy drinks, pre-workout powders, and even some teas can push your total intake higher than you think. When total intake climbs, tolerance and sleep disruption become more likely. Also, caffeine isn't the only active compound in coffee. Coffee contains acids and other chemicals that can irritate the stomach in some people, which can feel like bad energy or nausea. That can be mistaken for anxiety. If coffee started feeling harsher, the fix might be dose reduction, slower intake, or switching to a less acidic brew method. Next, we'll get practical. How to reset sensitivity without making your life miserable, and how to build a coffee routine that actually works. Moving to slide 13. If coffee stopped working, the most effective reset is usually reducing tolerance and protecting sleep. One approach people use is a short caffeine break. Even a few days can change how strong caffeine feels, though full tolerance can take longer to unwind. Another approach is a taper, gradually reducing intake to avoid headaches and brain fog. Many people find it easier to keep one planned caffeine window, like late morning, and avoid caffeine after a set cutoff time that protects bedtime. Hydration and regular meals help too, because they reduce the chance that you confuse low fluids or low fuel with needing coffee. And if you love the ritual, you can keep the habit with decaf or herbal tea in the afternoon, so you're not constantly stacking stimulation. The goal is not perfection. It's a stable baseline where coffee is an optional tool, not a requirement. In the final part, we'll summarize a simple, realistic coffee strategy, and I'll ask you one quick question for the comments. Moving to slide 14. Here's the simple model to remember. Coffee feels weaker because tolerance grows, sleep pressure keeps building, and timing mistakes quietly reduce sleep quality. Then the first cup becomes withdrawal relief, not a real boost. If you want coffee to feel useful again, aim for 3 things. First, protect sleep like it's the main energy supplement, because it is. Second, keep caffeine earlier and more intentional, so it supports your natural rhythm instead of fighting it. Third, avoid using coffee to cover up skipped meals, dehydration, or chronic stress. Those problems make caffeine feel unreliable. A realistic routine for many people is 1 to 2 coffees earlier in the day with a consistent cutoff that keeps bedtime intact. If you want to experiment, try delaying your first coffee or reducing the total dose for a week, and notice how your afternoons feel. If this was helpful, subscribe for more practical explanations like this. And for the comments, do you feel worse from coffee because of jitters or because of the crash? A or B? This information is not a substitute for medical advice. Resilience is the foundation of longevity.